Hello, everybody in my private Facebook group. Those of you who haven't tuned in, I am Lisa Rose. You're in my group. Hi. And it's Friday and it's happy hour. This is the Friday happy hour. Usually I always have a post that lets you know that I'm doing happy hour and what time. And I'm still playing a bit with the time. So today I started at 5 p.m. Pacific. But this week I had a huge technological breakdown, and Mercury is still in retrograde, so not so unexpected, but it was an avalanche that just kicked me in the wallet, and I had talked about that in another video you probably caught. But over the last 2 days I've been able to sort of fire up and plug in all my electronics, and I have almost everything new, new MacBook Pro, new iPhone, new router for my internet, new modem, new lights here from my studio because even though they blew, and trying to say bring it, bring everything you possibly can to me this week, is when Mercury goes out of retrograde on September 5th. I want to be able to like roll. I'm ready to rock and roll. So don't be surprised. We're not out of the woods yet. We still have this weekend. To top it off, I had recently sold my house in Hawaii for 7 days, and the buyers had canceled the contract. Right, and that was the very last thing. It was like the topping on my kick in the ass by Mercury retrograde. Now, I know not to sign contracts during Mercury retrograde, and I will never do it again. But when it's a real estate deal and you got the buyer there and you're thinking, oh, okay, I know it's Mercury retrograde. I'm going to sound like a jerk if I say I'm not going to sign it until after September 5th. So I went ahead and I did it. And of course, right, it was almost predictable. So here's why I'm grateful about it. A long time ago, I was studying Kabbalah in Los Angeles at the Kabbalah Center. My teacher there, Marcus Weston, was talking about in these times when you feel like you have a big bag of shit coming your way, and it just won't let up, and it's another thing and another thing and another thing. Instead of saying, don't give me any more, I can't handle any more, instead say, bring it. You challenge them to bring it. You say, bring it on, bring it all to me right now, because once you have that big mess all in one big pile, very quickly, the priorities start to sift themselves out. This isn't really that important. This is important. I got to get to this right now. Okay, I've got to make a decision quickly on this, so we're going to move on that. This one, I don't even know what that was doing on the radar. Boom, that one's gone. And everything starts to line up when you get all the crap all at once. When you get one a week or one a month, right, sometimes we have this trigger, where we make things more dramatic, or we make them more chaotic than they actually need to be, right? So we are sort of like overfeeding the drama. So when it all comes at the same time, though, it lines up really quick, and you're able to work on the things that need to be taken care of, and everything else can sort of wait. So I said, bring it. I got it big time. And I'm still laughing because I know it's going to be over, but I'm treading carefully, and I'm not using too many things that have an on and off switch. So I just wanted to share my little moment of gratitude with you today, and talk about, I'm using myself as the demo, as I do every week here. The choice that I made that I shouldn't have made, or the choice that I made that worked out great. And in this case, I shouldn't have signed the contract, and I can go ahead and bring the rest and sift it out and move on very quickly. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today really is I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about spirit guides, and I want to talk about the power of positive thinking. And let's just talk about spirit guides for a moment. I think I'll end with positive thinking. I'm working, as some of you probably have clued in, I'm working on a project. It's called Connecting with Your Spirit Guides. I'm in the middle of it. It's an online course. That's my fabulous green screen behind me. We're in my homemade studio. And so I've been thinking a lot about spirit guides. I've been working a lot with spirit guides. I've been coming up with ways to be able to teach about connecting with your own spirit and with spirit guides. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you today, right, we're starting the long Labor Day weekend here. And usually Labor Day weekend, I remember Labor Day weekends, summertime in Pennsylvania, and the radio station used to play like the top 100 hits of summer. and so it would be the whole Labor Day weekend of top hits on the radio station that I used to listen to. So I was thinking about, music. And I learned this from my teacher, Sonia Choquette, when I was training with her many years ago, on when you're first learning to try to connect to your spirit guides, right? The very first thing you have to do is you have to begin to connect to your own spirit, right? Because it allows you to more easily connect to your spirit guides, right? If the lights are out here, right, no one's going to be able to see you on the other side of the veil, and it's going to be difficult for you to be able to be a receiver of information. So you always start with your own. Doing things that you're really joyful about helps you to awaken and understand that you have a spirit and begin to feed it. And in the course, there's a whole lot more. But what I want to talk about is in relationship to music. You can practice with music in the preparation stages, right, to prepare yourself to meet and work with your spirit guides. So, if you listen to music, particularly complicated music, I would say if you listen to music like classical music or, let's just start with classical, because even if you don't like classical music or you never listen to it, find a couple of pieces of classical music to listen to, because classical music is usually orchestral, an orchestra, and it has an awful lot of different types of instruments. All kinds of instruments are involved in an orchestral classical piece of music. And when you listen to the music, you listen to it for the different instruments, and then you can listen to it to the sound and the sounds of the different instruments and the frequency of how that resonates with you. You know how some sounds will give you chicken skin, or you'll feel it in your heart space, right? They're resonating with you. And it works kind of this way with the spirit guides, because when you work with one, you're working with a vibration. First, you're calling it a vibration. You're getting on the same frequency. Then you're literally sometimes you're using your intuitive senses. Sometimes you're literally using your physical senses to communicate with them in a way that's structured, that gets you specific answers to your specific questions. But when you start working with spirit councils or groups of spirits, or maybe you don't even know what you're doing, and you're in there and you're getting a lot of information all at once from a whole bunch of spirit guides all around you, and it feels like that, you have to be able to differentiate what communication is coming from which spirit guide. And sometimes you can hear them talking to each other, right? So in order to lay the groundwork for that ability, to develop that ability in yourself, a great way to do this is something that most of us do on a regular basis, and that is listen to music. What most of us don't do is we don't listen deeply to music. We don't really listen. And if you put on your earbuds or put on your headphones and with purpose listen to a piece of classical music again and again and again, and you will notice that you're going to start picking up not only different sounds of the instruments, but the way that the composition is resonating with you might be different on the second listen than it was on the first listen, right? So you can try this with some classical music. It works great. So there's the correlation and the similarity is that groups, you'll be able to also distinguish between the variety of spirit guides that are different when they're coming together in a group for you. And you might not have control over whether or not it's one showing up or whether or not it's three, right, for some of the important conversations that you want to have with them. It's not unusual, for example, to have somebody who knows you from a past life show up, and your guardian angel from birth, angel, not spirit guide, they are different. I explain that in the course. That they might all be together in your proximity, not only trying to have conversations with you, but maybe even having conversations with each other. It's much easier to be able to tune into those different vibrations and the different frequencies in those vibrations when you have trained and prepared yourself. Raising your vibration high, right, is part of that deal. This is an exercise that's really easy for you to do that is in the next step, which is the preparation before you start to work with your spirit guides, okay? Just makes it a whole lot easier. And you can do this with those concept albums from the 1970s. And I'm a 1970s, baby. So I should say child. I wasn't born in the 70s, but that's sort of like when I came of age, right? So the vinyl that was on my turntable was, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Some of the albums that were created by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Even some of the albums before they became real poppy, were by the Canadian group Rush, right? So they would have I forget which side it is on which album exactly, but I think there's 2 songs, because each one's like 18 minutes long, right? So this is a concept piece. And the beauty about the concept albums and the classical music is that in addition to them being fabulous compositions where you're listening to a variety of instruments, they're also expressing things like emotion, adventure, and storytelling, which is also the things that you would be receiving from your spirit guides, right? They'd be talking about you with that, maybe something emotional or communicating emotion or trying to do a teaching with you to get you to pay attention to your emotions as signs and symbols for yourself. So this weekend, as you go through Labor Day and you are, choosing a piece of music, give yourself the gift of preparing yourself to talk to your spirit guides by deeply listening to music, the same piece over and over again until you've got it, right? So you can go through and just listen to percussion. You can just listen to wind instruments. You can just listen to strings. You can just listen to, guitar or whatever it might be, as a way to really get a feel for, well, what is that guitar actually saying in this piece? What are the violins trying to communicate to me in this piece? And maybe the violin's communication is just ta-da, and that's it. And the entire composition, right? So if you miss it, you've missed part of the communication, right? And this will be the same when you're working with your spirit guides. So I hope that tip will be helpful for you. And there'll be some more as we're rolling along. I'm in the thick of it, I'm really like in the middle of finishing producing this course for you. It's going to be, the release date September 23rd. We got a little bit to go. And there'll be some free webinars. The one that I just let loose today on Facebook through advertising is Meet Your Spirit Guides. It's an experience rather than a class. It's where I actually take you on a guided meditation, and you will meet one or more of your spirit guides. I do a quick overview in the beginning. The experience is the thing. I want you to have the experience, because I've been getting the support of my spirit guides for a long time. It's great. So I'm going to offer that for free so everyone can just sort of get the experience of that. And then there'll be a little bit of Q&A on the other side. And there's some other, as I get closer to the release date, there'll be some other opportunities as well. Let's just see who's here quick. I got to put my glasses on, I can see far away, but I can't see close up. Is it C or is it C star? Which do you prefer? Thank you for sharing. I've been a vibrational mess. It's been rough because of this Mercury in retrograde, everything, especially, coupled with that eclipse that went by and it shut all the doors on things, whether we liked it or not. Okay, star. Oh, I just love that. Okay, hi, star. So, hang tight and do whatever it is that you can do to keep grounded, number one. Meditation's great. Otherwise, what's really great? Go out and get your feet on the ground. Get them on the sand. Get them in the dirt. Just stand more often than sit. Get yourself grounded and then begin to raise your vibe high. And one of the ways to raise your vibe really high is through the power of positive thinking. And I'm gonna end tonight with that. Oh, look, I just put up my phone. Power of Positive Thinking. Look, an angel number, 1717. I'm so connected. I just love it. All right, here we go. Well, a few days ago, Louise Hay went into the light, right? If you don't know who Louise Hay is, she is the founder, the creator and the founder of Hay House Publishing, which is the publishing house that really started that whole self-help, self-development, spirituality movement. And what I love about this woman is that she had a whole life experience that she ended up changing around with the power of positive thinking. She wrote about her experience, in a publication. It was all the way back in 1976, and then she rewrote it, I think, in 2008, called You Can Heal Your Life. 50 million copies have been sold. But it wasn't until she was 58 years old that she embarked on her mission. She basically fulfilled probably what was her original soul purpose, and she had to live, a certain amount of time to get to that place. For her, it was age 58 when she started Hay House Publishing. And now it's just a roster of who's who, of spiritual teachers and mentors, positive thinkers, psychologists and average everyday folks who say, I've got a great idea that I think can help other people and I'm going to write about it. And Hay House often will take a look at it, and if it fits their mission, oftentimes will offer a publishing contract. My teacher, Sonia Choquette, is a Hay House author. My soul sister friend, Rebecca Campbell, just became a Hay House author with her two publications. The last one is Rise Sister Rise, great book, and amazing book. It's become a movement. Wayne Dyer, I could go on. I think Gabrielle Bernstein is with Hay House, but she started this whole movement of the power of positive thinking. And I thought I would end with a quote today from Louise Hay, and I love this one. Every thought we think is creating our future. And I wholeheartedly believe that. What you think will manifest before what you do. What you think, how you think about others, how you think about yourself, how you think about your situation, how you think about what's going on in the world. How you think, what you think will manifest. It begins the whole process of manifestation. And it brings the whole process together of your connection with Source and with the universe and what you want. It is true. Be careful what you wish for. And so I love that quote. Every thought we think is creating our future. So live in the present. That's the big message, I think. Live in the present with your positive thoughts, even when you're dealing with a big bag full of shit. Say something real nice about that big bag full of shit, because there's something in there that is the silver lining that's going to turn out to be great. And that doesn't mean that you're in denial that you got a big bag of shit. It means that you just got to go through it, you got to deal with it, and then you got to look for the goodness that is coming. Wasn't being done to you, it's being done for you. So have a great weekend. Thanks for clicking and watching. I so appreciate that you're here with me. And send me questions if you have some, okay? I'm going out to listen to some music. Bye.